As the High Commissioner of Bangladesh to the Republic of Maldives, I welcome you all to the webinar arranged in commemoration of the historic 7th March speech by Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. We are privileged to have His Excellency Abdul Ghaffur Mohammed, respected Foreign Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Maldives, present amongst us as the chief guest today. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind presence. Dear audience, Bangladesh gained her independence through a series of movements starting in 1947 and culminating into a war of independence in 1971. 50 years after the independence, this year, that is 2021, is especially significant for us on two accounts. It is the golden jubilee of our independence, and it is also the birth centennial of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Therefore, I would like to start today's proceedings by paying my deepest respect and humble tribute to Bangabandhu, the Father of the Nation of Bangladesh. Ladies and gentlemen, just to revisit the history very briefly, in 1947, Pakistan emerged as an independent country from the British colonial rule, and Bangladesh, the then East Bengal, became East Pakistan. The Muslim majority province of East Bengal joined 4 other provinces of the West to form undivided Pakistan. As you all are aware, these two parts of Pakistan were geographically separated by 1100 miles. Eventually, this geographical separation and the difference in the mindset among the two populations contributed to the disintegration of the then Pakistan. Throughout the years of independence, the political leadership of the country remained indifferent to East Pakistan and its people, which increased the gap instead of conciliation. The first major issue of discontent arose when the rulers tried to make Urdu as the only state language, denying Bangla, the language of the majority of the population. This attitude of political rulers towards Bengali language and culture initiated language movement, which sowed the seed of Bengali nationalism among the people of East Bengal. The nationalist spirit ultimately laid down the foundation of an independent Bangladesh by influencing continuous struggle for 23 years against the repression of the West. Finally, the Liberation War took place in 1971, and through a 9 months long war and the sacrifices of 3 million people, Bangladesh got its independence on 16 December 1971. Starting from 1947, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman led the political movement from the front. He became the president of Awami League in 1963, which was at the time the major political party of East Pakistan. In 1966, he declared 6-point demand, which gained huge popularity and acceptance among the common people. In the election of 1970, Awami League got the majority in the National Assembly of Pakistan. However, the military and the politician started a conspiracy to form a coalition government that was against the mandate of the people. As all negotiations to resolve the issue went in vain, Bangabandhu appeared with his historic speech on 7th March with an outline of the upcoming movement for the liberation of Bangladesh and the ultimate emancipation of the oppressed people. Dear audience, the Liberation War of 1971 was an epoch-making event, not only in the history of Bangladesh, but also in the history of the world. It gave the birth of a new country and created a new identity for 70 million people. But the birth of Bangladesh was not only the result of 9 months of the war, rather it was the ultimate result of the continuous struggle for over 2 decades. In this struggle for independence, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman played an unparalleled role, for which he has been recognized as father of the nation. He himself dreamt about independence and sparked the light of the spirit among the whole nation, which ultimately led to an all-out war. In this process, his speech of 7th March 1971 can undoubtedly be considered as a milestone in the struggle for the independence of Bangladesh. Ladies and gentlemen, the historic 7th March speech of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman is considered as one of the best speeches delivered throughout the history of the world. The speech has been included by UNESCO on the Memory of the World Register in 2017. UNESCO wrote in its introduction, the speech effectively declared, I quote, the speech effectively declared the independence of Bangladesh. This speech constitutes faithful documentation of how the failure of post-colonial nation states to develop inclusive, democratic society alienates their population belonging to different ethnic, cultural, linguistic, or religious groups, unquote. This inscription of the speech by UNESCO is regarded as a great honor and recognition for Bangabandhu and Bangladesh. This year, Bangladesh has decided to commemorate this historic event with special significance on the occasion of the Golden Jubilee of our independence. Today's webinar is a part of that special celebration. At this stage, I would like to apprise you about the details of today's program. At the outset, we shall read out the messages by the Honorable President and the Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh issued on the occasion of 7th March. It will be followed by a video clip prepared by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for about 4 minutes duration. Thereafter, Mr. Sohail Parvez, the First Secretary of the Mission, will present before you the various key features of the historic speech. Subsequently, we shall hear comments from a couple of our distinguished participants. The other respected participants will also be invited to present a comment if they so wish. At the end, today's chief guest, His Excellency Abdul Ghaffur Mohammed, will kindly deliver his valuable speech. With that brief introduction, may I now request the Third Secretary of the Mission, Mr. Mizanur Rahman, to kindly read out the message of the Honorable President, Mr. Abdul Hamid.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. I will now read the message of the Honorable President of Bangladesh delivered on the occasion of the historic 7th March. Message of Honorable President. The historic 7th March is a memorable day in the history of Bengalis liberation movement and independence. On this day in 1971, Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, delivered an ageless speech in a thunderous voice on the then race course ground. The government has declared this day as the historic 7th March Day, which is a landmark decision. On this day, I remembered with deep respect Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the greatest Bengali of all time, under whose unique leadership we achieved an independent sovereign Bangladesh. Independence is the greatest achievement of Bengalis. However, it has not been achieved in a single day. In the long, rugged path from the great language movement to the achievement of the final victory in 1971, Bangabandhu's immense courage, boundless sacrifice, courageous leadership, and right guidance led the nation towards the desired goal. Although Awami League backed absolute majority in the general election of 1970, the Pakistani ruling party started dilly-dallying the process of handing over the power to the majority party. Under the leadership of Bangabandhu, therefore, the non-cooperation movement was started on March 1. In continuation of the agitation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman delivered a historic speech at the Mammoth gathering at the racecourse ground by ignoring the blood-curdling eyes of the then Pakistani ruler, which was the Charter of Independence of the Bengali nation. In that effulgent speech, with his unique eloquence and political wisdom, he united the emotions, dreams, and aspiration of the Bengalis and declared in a thunderous voice, the struggle this time is the struggle for emancipation. The struggle this time is the struggle for independence, which was in fact the call for independence. In continuation of that historic speech, Bangabandhu declared long cherished independence of the Bengali nation on March 26. Then we achieved our independent and sovereign Bangladesh through a 9-month-long earned struggle. Bangabandhu's speech on 7 March was one of the most celebrated speeches in the world. That speech was a great efficacious message to the freedom singing people to make them jump into battle, breaking the chains of subjugation. How an address can awaken the whole nation, inspire them to leap into the war of liberation for independence. The historic 7 March speech by Bangabandhu is its unique example. UNESCO has recognized the 7 March speech of Bangabandhu as part of the World Documentary Heritage and included it in the memory of the World International Register on 30th March 2017. This is our great achievement as Bangladesh. The world-renowned magazine Newsweek, in its issue on 5th April in 1971, turned Bangabandhu as the poet of politics for this historic address. The historic address of Bangabandhu on March 7 will be an eternal source of inspiration, not only for us, but also the freedom-loving people around the world. Bangabandhu's lifetime dream was to turn the independent, sovereign Bangladesh into a prosperous, golden Bangla. We must continue our efforts to fulfill the dream of our great leader. Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has undertaken Vision 2021 and Vision 2041 to make Bangladesh a prosperous country by 2041. On the eve of the birth centenary of Bangabandhu and the Golden Jubilee of Independence, I call upon all to contribute from their respective position, irrespective of party affiliation, in implementing these programs. Joy Bangla, Khuda Hafez, May Bangladesh live forever, Muhammad Abdul Hamid. Thank you again, everybody, to attend the webinar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mizanur Rahman. At this stage, I call upon the personal officer of the mission, Mr. Ziaur Rahman, to kindly read out the message of the Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina. The message is delivered in Bangla.
আজ ঐতিহাসিক 7 মার্চ বাঙালি জাতির জীবনে এক অবিস্মরণীয় দিন। 1971 সালের এদিনে সর্বকালের সর্বশ্রেষ্ঠ বাঙালি জাতির পিতা বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিবুর রহমান স্বাধীনতা ডাক দেন। ঢাকার তৎকালীন রেসকোর্স ময়দানের বিশাল জনসমুদ্রে তিনি বজ্রকণ্ঠে ঘোষণা দেন, এবারের সংগ্রাম আমাদের মুক্তির সংগ্রাম, এবারের সংগ্রাম স্বাধীনতার সংগ্রাম, জয় বাংলা। দ্বিজাতি তত্ত্বের ভিত্তিতে পাকিস্তান রাষ্ট্র প্রতিষ্ঠার পর থেকেই এই অঞ্চলের জনগণের উপর নেমে আসে বৈষম্য আর নির্যাতনের জাতাকল। অর্থনৈতিক বৈষম্য ছাড়াও সংখ্যাগরিষ্ঠ বাঙালির মাতৃভাষাকে উপেক্ষা করে উর্দুকে একমাত্র রাষ্ট্রভাষা হিসেবে চাপিয়ে দেওয়ার ষড়যন্ত্রে মেতে ওঠে পশ্চিম পাকিস্তানি শাসক গোষ্ঠী। শুরু হয় বাঙালির আত্মনিয়ন্ত্রণাধিকার আদায়ের সংগ্রাম। 1948 থেকে 52 ভাষা আন্দোলন, 54 যুক্তফ্রন্ট নির্বাচন, 62 শিক্ষা আন্দোলন, 66 6 দফা আন্দোলন, ঊনসত্তরের গণ অভ্যুত্থান এবং 70-এর সাধারণ নির্বাচনে বিজয়ের পথ ধরে বাঙালির মুক্তি সংগ্রাম যৌক্তিক পরিণতির দিকে ধাবিত হয়। আর এসব আন্দোলন সংগ্রামের সামনে থেকে নেতৃত্ব দেন বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিব। 7 মার্চের ঐতিহাসিক মহেন্দ্রক্ষণে রেসকোর্সের জনসমুদ্রে দাঁড়িয়ে জাতির পিতা প্রদান করলেন স্বাধীনতার পথ নকশা। যুদ্ধ অনিবার্য জেনে তিনি শত্রুর মোকাবেলায় বাঙালি জাতিকে প্রস্তুত থাকার নির্দেশ দেন। তোমাদের যা কিছু আছে তাই নিয়ে প্রস্তুত থাকো। জাতির পিতা বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিবের এই সম্মোহনী আহ্বানে সাড়া দিয়ে বাঙালি জাতি সশস্ত্র মুক্তিযুদ্ধের প্রস্তুতি নিতে শুরু করে। 25 মার্চ কালো রাতে পাকিস্তানি সামরিক জান্তা গণহত্যা শুরু করলে জাতির পিতা 26 মার্চের প্রথম প্রহরে স্বাধীনতার ঘোষণা দেন। শুরু হয় মুক্তিযুদ্ধ। 9 মাসের সশস্ত্র মুক্তিযুদ্ধে 30 লাখ মানুষ শহীদ হন, 2 লাখ মা বোন সম্ভ্রম হারা হন। বহু ত্যাগের বিনিময়ে 1971 সালের 16 ডিসেম্বর আমরা চূড়ান্ত বিজয় অর্জন করি। পরাধীনতা শৃঙ্খল থেকে ছিনিয়ে আনি মহান স্বাধীনতা। বাঙালি জাতি পায় মুক্তির কাঙ্ক্ষিত স্বাদ। প্রতিষ্ঠা পায় স্বাধীন সার্বভৌম রাষ্ট্র বাংলাদেশ। জাতির পিতার 7 মার্চের ভাষণ বিশ্বের অন্যতম শ্রেষ্ঠ রাজনৈতিক ভাষণ। লেখক ও ইতিহাসবিদ জেকব এফ ফিল্ড এর বিশ্বসেরা ভাষণ নিয়ে লেখা "We shall fight on the beaches, the speeches that inspired history" গ্রন্থে এই ভাষণ স্থান পেয়েছে। অসংখ্য ভাষায় অনুদিত হয়েছে বঙ্গবন্ধু 7 মার্চের ভাষণ। বঙ্গবন্ধুর 7 মার্চের ভাষণ ইউনেস্কো কর্তৃক 2017 সালে বিশ্ব প্রামাণ্য ঐতিহাসিক ওয়ার্ল্ড ডকুমেন্টারি হেরিটেজ হিসেবে ইউনেস্কোর ইন্টারন্যাশনাল মেমোরি অব দ্য ওয়ার্ল্ড রেজিস্টারে অন্তর্ভুক্ত হয়, যা সমগ্র দেশ ও জাতি জন্য অত্যন্ত গর্বের। বাঙালির বীরত্বপূর্ণ সংগ্রাম ও সশস্ত্র মুক্তিযুদ্ধে জাতির পিতার এই ভাষণের দিক নির্দেশনায় ছিল সে সময় বজ্র কঠিন জাতীয় ঐক্যের মূলতন্ত্র। বাংলাদেশের স্বাধীনতা সংগ্রামে অমিত শক্তির উৎস ছিল এই ঐতিহাসিক ভাষণ। বঙ্গবন্ধুর এই ভাষণ আমাদের ইতিহাস এবং জাতীয় জীবনের এক অপরিহার্য ও অনস্বীকার্য অধ্যায়, যার আবেদন চির অম্লান। কালজয়ী ভাষণ বিশ্বের শোষিত, বঞ্চিত ও মুক্তিকামী মানুষকে সবসময় প্রেরণা জুগিয়ে যাবে। মার্চ 2020 থেকে ডিসেম্বর 2021 জাতির পিতার জন্ম শতবার্ষিকী মুজিব বর্ষ উদযাপন করা হচ্ছে। এ মাসে আমরা স্বাধীনতার সুবর্ণ জয়ন্তী পালন করব। বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিব যে সোনার বাংলা স্বপ্ন দেখেছিলেন, বাঙালি জাতির জন্য যে উন্নত জীবনের কথা ভেবেছিলেন, তার সেই স্বপ্নকে বাস্তব রূপ দিতে আমরা 2009 সাল থেকে ধারাবাহিকভাবে সরকার গঠন করে মানুষের ভাগ্য উন্নয়নের জন্য নিরলসভাবে কাজ করে যাচ্ছি। ইতিমধ্যে আর্থসামাজিক ক্ষেত্রে বাংলাদেশ অভূতপূর্ণ সাফল্য অর্জন করেছে। আমরা আজ আত্মমর্যাদাশীল দেশ হিসেবে বিশ্বের বুকে মাথা উঁচু করে দাঁড়িয়েছি। রূপকল্প 2021 ও 2041 এবং ডেল্টা প্ল্যান 2100 বাস্তবায়নের মাধ্যমে আমরা জাতির পিতার স্বপ্নের ক্ষুধা দারিদ্র্য মুক্ত ও সুখী সমৃদ্ধ সোনার বাংলাদেশ গড়ে তুলতে অঙ্গীকারাবদ্ধ। আসুন মহান মুক্তিযুদ্ধের চেতনায় উদ্বুদ্ধ হয়ে ঐক্যবদ্ধভাবে দেশের উন্নয়ন অগ্রযাত্রায় নিজ নিজ অবস্থান থেকে ভূমিকা রাখি। ঐতিহাসিক 7 মার্চে এই হোক আমাদের অঙ্গীকার। জয় বাংলা, জয় বঙ্গবন্ধু, বাংলাদেশ চিরজীবী হোক শেখ হাসিনা।
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, at this stage, we shall screen a short video clip prepared by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh on the occasion of historic 7th March speech. I request all of you to kindly watch the video clip.
আমি প্রধানমন্ত্রিত্ব চাই না, আমরা দেশের মানুষের অধিকার চাই।
I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin.
Our march to freedom is irreversible. We must not allow fear to stand in our way.
I regard myself as a soldier, though a soldier of peace. It is complete independence that we want.
রক্ত যখন দিয়েছি, রক্ত আরো দেব। এই দেশের মানুষকে মুক্ত করে ছাড়বো ইনশাআল্লাহ। এবারে সংগ্রাম আমাদের মুক্তির সংগ্রাম। এবারে সংগ্রাম স্বাধীনতার সংগ্রাম।
বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিব
Ladies and gentlemen, at this stage, I'd like to request Mr. Sohail Parvez, the First Secretary of the Mission, to kindly present before you the various key features of the historic speech of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, delivered on the 7th of March, 1971. Mr. Sohail Parvez.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We have just watched a video clip on the historic speech of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The speech effectively declared the independence of Bangladesh. At this stage, I would like to focus on few key features of the historic speech. First and foremost, the structure and language of the speech. The historic 7th March speech was an extempore speech of about 15 minutes. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman delivered it on 7th March 1971 at Ramna Race Course in Dhaka before a mass gathering. The speech was well structured. Bangabandhu used his usual colloquial Bangla language and used his rural dialect to connect all the people of the country. Bangabandhu reminded the past 23 years repression, highlighting the major events. He also depicted the present situation and called for peaceful solution. Finally, as a great leader, he also directed the people to remain prepared to face any situation to gain the ultimate freedom. If we see, he could motivated the mass people of Bangladesh at that time through this historic speech. All the people from different strata of the society came to one stand after this historic speech. When we can see, he said, quote, "You can't keep 7 crores of people subjugated. Since we have learned to die, no one can dominate us. We will surely liberate the people of this country." After this declaration, the people also joined hand to hand for their rights. The clarity and boldness of the speech. During the speech, Bangabandhu clearly uttered the demands of the people. He also boldly warned the military dictators by saying, quote, "You are our brothers. You stay in your barracks. No one will say anything to you, but don't ever try to shoot us. This will do you no good." If we see the speech, we can see Bangabandhu had to remain very tactful during delivering the speech, because the then ruler would have got a chance to prove him as secessionist for any wrong statement in his speech. Therefore, the speech very tactfully aroused the people for independence. Bangabandhu believed in secularism. He believed in peaceful coexistence of all the people. So he pointed out in his speech, quote, "Hindus, Muslims, Bengalis and non-Bengalis, all those who live in this Bangla are our brothers." He was also very pragmatic. In his historic speech, we found the pragmatism, as he declared closure and non-cooperation movement. In this time, he also thought about the condition of the working class people. He guided to ensure the livelihood of the working class by keeping their work from nationwide strike. The speech was very logical. and in democratic approach. Bangabandhu struggled throughout his life for democracy. In his historic speech, it was also evident when he said, quote, "If we can solve things in peaceful manner, we can at least live as brothers." He tried till the end to make a peaceful solution, but it was not happened. Declaration of Independence. In this speech, Bangabandhu ultimately declared the independence very effectively by saying, quote, "The struggle this time is a struggle for our emancipation. The struggle this time is the struggle for our independence." As a seasoned politician, he could understand that ruling elites would never allow the people of East Pakistan to rule the Pakistan, though they were majority in the election. He knew that they would use force to dominate the people. Therefore, he directed the mass people to take preparation for final consequences. In this speech, he said, quote, "Build a fortress in each and every house and be ready with whatever you have." In this way, he motivated all the people and prepared them for any final consequences. Bangabandhu's historic 7th March speech is recognized as one of the world's all-time best. It has been selected as one of the most inspirational wartime speeches in the last 2,500 years in a book. The sounds, the words, and the sentences that have been used in this speech are very perfect and pertinent. For this reason, Newsweek magazine termed Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman as the poet of politics for this splendid speech. UNESCO enlisted the historic speech as part of the world's documental heritage in the memory of the World Register. In conclusion, we can say that this historic 7th March speech of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman will be the source of inspiration for Bangladeshi people as well as for the freedom-loving people of all over the world forever. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. Thanks a lot.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, at this stage, I would like to invite a couple of commenters to kindly comment, make their valuable comments on this August gathering. First of all, I'd like to invite, on behalf of the Bangladeshi expatriate community, Dr. Jebaun Nahar. Dr. Jebaun Nahar is a member of the faculty of Maldives National University, and she has been residing in Maldives and making her contribution in the Medical College of Maldives for last few years. May I request Dr. Jebaun Nahar to kindly present her valuable comments.
Thanks to the High Commission of Bangladesh for inviting me to speak on this special day commemorating the historic speech given by our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, which fueled our nation towards the fight for independence. Respected audience, political speech are not mere linguistic text encoded in verbal or written form. They also carry covert ideologies which are embedded in a country's social, political, and cultural context. Speeches are powerful, and sometimes they are even enough to create new history. And such history was created through the March 7th speech of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman 50 years ago. It was in the difficult and crisis-filled context that Bangabandhu delivered his historic speech, which ended with the liberation of Bangladesh on December 16, 1971, working as deus ex machina for Bangladeshi people seeking liberation from the exploitation of West Pakistan. Valued guest, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was such a leader who opened the eyes of the East Pakistani people about their right and led them towards the independence. He could ignite the light of the nationalist spirit among the people by his public speaking capacity and heart-rending speech. Bangabandhu's speech alluded to the practice of democracy and progressive thinking and inspired the whole nation to take part in the liberation war of Bangladesh in order to free the country from occupation force. Bangabandhu is as constant as the North Star in the political horizon of Bangla. It was none other than Bangabandhu who sowed the seed of independent Bangladesh and then took great pain to nurturing it so that the seed takes root across the length, breadth of the country and bears the much desired golden fruit. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jibon Nahar. May I now request His Excellency Ambassador Salim, the Ambassador at Large, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Maldives, to kindly make his valuable comment. Ladies and gentlemen, Ambassador Salim is a renowned diplomat and he is also a good friend of Bangladesh. Over to Ambassador Salim, sir.
Thank you very much, Excellency, for giving me this opportunity to make a few comments on this very important occasion. Obviously, as everybody else has said, Bangabandhu's 7th March speech is an extraordinary speech. It's one of the best speeches, political speeches that have ever been made during the 20th century. And it definitely, the speech contributed enormously in bringing Bangladesh together, and also it also culminated in the creation of a brand new country in 1971. Bangladesh is a country that has always been very close to my heart, wherever I am. And on this very occasion, I would like to convey my sincere greetings to the President, Prime Minister, and every single Bangladeshi, wherever they may be, and also, Excellency, to you and your High Commission, everybody in your High Commission. And I also like to emphasize the excellent relations between our two countries since 1971, and it is my hope that this excellent relations will continue between our two countries for a very, very long time. Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you very much, Excellency, Ambassador Salim. Now, I would like to invite from our respected audience, if anyone would wish to make a comment. We have a couple of minutes for that. Anyone from the audience, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Your Excellency. My name is Muhammad. I work in Maldives. Since 7th March 1971, we have come a long way. I was present there as a young boy. We have traveled 50 years, and from a country that was called a bottomless basket, today we actually surpass all our neighbors in most of the macroeconomic indicators. It is a proud day for us, and we look forward to a better future. I thank the High Commission for organizing this and wish you all success going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Mohammed. Ladies and gentlemen, you may well know Mr. Mohammed is the Managing Director of Maldives Islamic Bank, a renowned banker. He has been the Managing Director in a number of other banks in Bangladesh, and he is a pride, a great citizen of Bangladesh. Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable comments. Any other distinguished audience who would like to take part, please? Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I believe it is now appropriate time for us to hear the valuable comments of our today's chief guest, His Excellency Abdul Ghafoor Mohammed. His Excellency Abdul Ghafoor Mohammed is a renowned diplomat, and you all know he is performing currently the great responsibilities of the Foreign Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Maldives. Mr. Ghafoor has been a great friend of Bangladesh, and on our invitation, he has kindly accepted to become the chief guest of today's occasion. And by that, he has honored Bangladesh and our father of the nation, Bangabandhu. Without further ado, may I now request His Excellency Abdul Ghafoor Mohammed to kindly deliver his valuable speech. Sir, the chief guest.
Thank you, Excellency. High Commissioner of Bangladesh, His Excellency Muhammad Nazmul Hassan, Excellencies, representatives of the international organizations, and the audience. Assalamu alaikum. I'm really very delighted to join the webinar on historic 7th March speech of the father of the nation of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, arranged by the High Commission of Bangladesh in Maldives. It is indeed a great experience to watch and listen to such an outstanding speech by the father of the nation of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, through this webinar. I'm very glad to know that the historic speech is enlisted as part of the world's documentary heritage by UNESCO, as well as recorded in the memory of the World Register. As far as my understanding goes, the historic speech was concise but an accomplished deliberation. Bangabandhu delivered guidelines and directives to the people regarding non-cooperation and protest for their rights and ultimate freedom. The most unconventional and noteworthy point was Mujib's humanistic approach while delivering his instructions through the speech. As a leader, he was always mindful of the sufferings and deprivation of the mass population of his country. Sheikh Mujib appealed for unity of all Bangladeshi people, regardless of religion or culture, in his speech. His philosophical standpoint of democracy was also expressed in the speech. In the speech, Bangabandhu delivered his message very clearly and boldly to a large number of audiences. The speech, particularly the last part, defines Bangabandhu as the symbol of an undisputed leader. From a strong sense of obligation and commitment towards the people, Sheikh Mujib was seen to concentrate on leading his followers, even at the expense of the possibility of becoming the prime minister, so that his people may get their rights and privileges. He provided a complete guideline regarding the approach towards the path of freedom and sacrifice to be made by all to achieve it. He ultimately portrayed the image of an independent country in front of the people with this concise but complete speech. Sheikh Mujib's historical 7th March speech contained remarkable ideological strategies. At the same time, it was also ornamented with great linguistic skills. As such, the speech could reach the hearts and minds of the audience, that is, the citizens of Bangladesh. On the same note, it also gave a clear message to the government in power at that time. In a nutshell, the speech is a true reflection of a great leader of all times. And it is a rare opportunity for me to be part of this webinar organized to commemorate such a historic event. At the end, I want to thank Bangladesh High Commission, especially the High Commissioner, His Excellency Muhammad Nazmul Hassan, for arranging such a befitting program where we could know in depth about the great historic speech of Bangabandhu. The current Prime Minister, Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina, daughter of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, is leading Bangladesh towards the goal of a developed and prosperous country. Under her dynamic leadership, the bilateral relations between Bangladesh and Maldives have grown from strength to strength. I congratulate the government of Bangladesh, as well as the people of Bangladesh, in this month of the Golden Jubilee of their independence. Thank you, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us towards the end of our today's program. Before I conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to mention a few words about the recent trend of development of Bangladesh under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. the daughter of our father of the nation. I'd also like to mention very briefly about the excellent bilateral relationships that Bangladesh enjoy with our brotherly nation, the Republic of Maldives. As you may know, in last decade or so, the development history of Bangladesh has been unprecedented. Bangladesh has graduated from LDC to a middle income country and fulfilled all the criteria that is required by the international organizations for this meaningful graduation. And this has happened because of the bold and dynamic leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister. She has taken Bangladesh to a newer height of development. This has made also the independence meaningful for the country and the people. And in recent times, I am very happy to mention that the relationship between Bangladesh and Maldives has reached newer heights. Recently, the Honorable Foreign Minister of Maldives, His Excellency Mr. Shahid, visited Bangladesh, and we hope that in the near future, more important visits will take place between our two countries. And through these visits and through our continued interaction, we shall take our relationship much more ahead and make it much more meaningful for the people of our two beloved countries. At the end, I would like to thank all the distinguished participants of today's webinar. My special thanks to the commenters, Dr. Jebaun Nahar, His Excellency Ambassador Salim, and Mr. Mohaimin, the Managing Director of Maldives Islami Bank. I cannot have enough words to express my gratitude to His Excellency, the Foreign Secretary of Maldives, for kindly gracing our today's occasion as the chief guest. Thank you very much, sir, His Excellency Mr. Ghafoor. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your kind presence. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. May our friendship of Bangladesh and Maldives live forever. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu. May Bangladesh live forever. Allah Hafiz. Thanks very much to all our participants for your kind presence. Dr. Jeba, Mr. Mohammed.
Thank you, sir.
Major Arif, thank you very much for attending with your team. Shobai bhalo ache?
Sir, thank you so much, sir. Sir, we are fine, sir.
Okay, that's good to know.
Sir, এখানে শেষ করছি স্যার, যাই।
Yes, Miss Akiko, how are you, ma'am? Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting UNDP to join in this. Thank you very much.
Honor and privilege that you could kindly join.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Excellency, how are you today?
Thank you, High Commissioner. Thank you so much. It was a very good seminar. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellency, for sparing your valuable time and joining us.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for inviting us. It was a good show. Joy Bangla.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Mohammed, for sparing your valuable time.